Hello, this is my video going over my fractal generator. I've set up a load of example files I've taken from the examples document at the side here, and I've got them set up as each with their own configuration here. The only difference between any of these is literally just the program arguments. Um, is literally just the program arguments is taking a different file, um, as we can see here. So that's the equivalent of just typing in the command and then putting a file name after it. I'm going to start with spiral squares because it's the most basic one, and we'll kind of work our way up a bit. So spiral squares is this one from the example file, which is an example of rotation and scaling working. If we want something with some translation as well, we've got two branch, which again is from the examples thing. Two branch also shows use of two branches, and gives me a chance to show the ability to give transforms colors. Um, I was struggling with some debugging stuff when I was first building the recursive method for generating fractals, and I couldn't work out what was going wrong. I just knew what was coming out was bad. So I implemented this so that I could see the transforms, and it really helped me debug it. I added a few extra things because I found that although I can see this transform, I can't really tell where one ends and the next begins. So I added something I called rainbow, which gives you the ability to increase the hue. If we see here, increase the hue each step, each recursive step deeper, so that I can actually tell which transform is which. These lines are a bit thin. I've got them marked in here though, so those can be changed. As well as rainbow, we've also got what I call fade, which I'll put on this one here. I'll do it by 10. And this kind of does what it sounds like. Go for a slightly bigger number to make it a bit more obvious. That might be too obvious. Yeah, we'll go 20. So fade lets me fade the lines in and out, and this is just another way for me to tell the difference between each thing. It doesn't actually fade, it just increases the lightness. It doesn't take alpha into account. But with how I've built this, it very easily could. I just didn't really end up doing it that way. While I was doing this, however, um, I realized um, that I thought the colors were quite pretty. I ended up building this one, which I thought was really nice, um, especially with some of the rainbow hue stepping and fading and stuff. And I kind of thought, well, why not try and apply this to everything? Because my method for passing colors was generic enough, I could just apply it to other things. So I made it so that you can set the colors of graphics, which we need to set a tree here. So yeah, as you can see, you can give each graphic an individual color. 150. There we go. And that obviously also works with the color stepping. We'll put a fade on this one just as a different example. It might look a bit ugly though. Yeah, that fade is definitely a little bit too quick. And that rainbow step is too big. But you can kind of see what I mean. An interesting thing about when you use these stepping things in a bit more of an intense fashion with bigger numbers is you can actually see the exact recursive path it takes, if that's the right thing to call it. We can actually see that this thing works its way round sideways. We can see it builds these ones first and then works outwards, which is why none of these ones are getting drawn, which I thought was really interesting. though that is mostly applicable to this tree one. But yeah, so essentially graphics and transforms can be given colors and they can be stepped through with rainbow and fade. Outside of this, an extra feature that I've added was I've added a few other types of comments. I've added inline comments, which you'll see me using later to comment out colors. There we go. But also multi-line comments. Hello. There we go. And if you don't close a comment, then it gets angry and says multi-line comment left unclosed. Other fractals worth showing would be snow is probably the only big exciting one left, and this also is the only other one I have that shows a new feature which I haven't shown yet, which is this one is one that uses two fractals that reference each other. So this is proof that I can do that. It works on this depth, but it's quite chunky, so Firefox is not very happy with it. So I'm going to pass it like this instead, and then I'll step it up a bit after I've shown the basic one. So this is the snowflake. And as you can see, I've been messing around with colors on it. Firefox is already unhappy. You can see it kind of took a second to draw all of those. If I step this up to 6, it gets really unhappy very, very quickly. What I find interesting though is you can actually see these smaller colors. It doesn't like zooming in, but you can see these smaller colors change as it draws it, because it's literally drawing all of these tiny little details underneath. I'm going to change that back to 4 before I accidentally run it. But yeah, so that's colors both on graphics. And other things, along with inline comments, as you've seen used when I've been commenting out these colors, and multi-line comments, and just normal comments, fractals that can reference other fractals, and all the basic functioning of rotation and translation and transforms. I don't think I massively have anything else. So yes, that's it. Thank you. I hope that this has been interesting. Yes, have a nice day. Bye.